So, this is the weekly time frame, and what are we seeing? Let me go to the monthly time frame first. So, for the monthly time frame, we can see that prices reacting off of this bullish order block. The network is not really stable, so the market is reacting off of this bullish order block, and we could equally say that it is reacting off of a support level. Let me use a rectangle. Let me use the rectangle. You can see it's reacting off of the support level. So personally, I think price is going to this is going to be the next leg of price to get to this draw on liquidity above. So price is reacting off this, the other block, and then this resistance or support zone. And if I were to move to that's for the weekly time frame, you can see how price failed to close below previous month's low. This is the previous month's low. Oh my god, the network is bad. This is the previous month's low. Price failed to displace below, making sorry, this is the previous month's low. This bullish candle, this green candle. But this was February's low. Price failed to displace below February's low and making March the high of March, the next target. So I'd say this is my short-term draw on liquidity. Is that clear? That's my what? Short-term draw on liquidity. Now mind you, this other block, this blue line is my other block. That's my order block, monthly order block, and I'm expecting price to go up from there, reaching out to this draw on liquidity and possibly this FVG, possibly that FVG. So if we are to observe carefully, you would see that price already traded below the monthly open. That was previous month's opening price. The market already traded below it, making this a really important target for us, and as well as this FVG, which is this red line. Let me label it monthly FVG. So moving on to the weekly time frame. Moving on to the weekly time frame, I'm still expecting the same thing. Now there isn't much to talk about on this weekly time frame, but since we already have the narrative for the month, let me scale down to the daily time frame to see if we can get a clearer bias. Now for this time frame, we so I believe you understood what I said about the monthly and the weekly time frame and how we got to this point. So I'm going to delete this monthly opening price label so I can explain the daily time frame, and I'm going to delete this other block so I can explain the daily time frame clearly. So over here, there was a failure to displace below this low, and then price broke this high. This is considered a CISD. Wow, I don't have a CISD mark out. CISD. So yeah, this is the CISD. What is the CISD? Maybe I'm going to drop a video. A CISD is different from a market structure. Now this is a market structure. A market structure is when it breaks or when it displaces above the wick, and the CISD is when it displaces above the body, right? So this is a CISD. This is a CISD, and after price broke above, it came below and also broke above this high. But then when price broke above the high, it wasn't necessarily a real break, so it swept the high. And if price sweeps a high, let's check the weekly time frame. You can see price swept the high of these candles. These are relative equal highs. If I'm going to mention relative equal highs, we have to be switching between time frames if we're going to be sure about our bias. It's not good to be static and just focusing on a time frame. So yeah, when price swept on the 4 hour time frame, price displaced below, and all that happened. Price came back to this draw on liquidity, sweeping this draw on liquidity. Remember, we're still bullish. Why? Because price failed to displace above this high and it failed to displace above this low. But work with me now. Price has now displaced above this, making it what? A CISD blue line. Can you see? Price displaced above this. You can see the bullish intent on this previous day's candle. See the bullish intent closing above this, making this a CISD alongside this low that price failed to displace below, just like in the 4 hour time frame, and price sweeping this low. You understand? Price swept this. This is the sell side liquidity. This is the buy side liquidity. Buy side, sell side. This is called a double purge and what? Revert. A double purge and revert is when price does this. When price does something like this, and then it does this, and then yeah. So when price takes out when price takes out the buy side and the sell side, this is a double purge and revert, but this is a bullish scenario, and this is exactly what is happening right here. So I'm expecting price to come back down. I'm expecting price to come back down to mitigate that area. Now I'll move to the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, I'd like to mark out my support and my what's it called? My premium and discount levels. So this is a 0.5%. So what I'm expecting price to drop to either this blue line or the box here, or you could actually use the 4 hour time frame to continue its movement. the middle of the 4 hour time frame to continue its movement. Let me tap. Let me yeah, this is the middle line. Yeah, so it could also drop to that level, the middle of this 4 hour time frame, which actually coincides with the daily and the 4 hour time frame. But regardless, this this is my oof, oh my god. The network is not networking. What's going on? Please excuse the noise. What's actually happening? Oh my god. Okay. No.